Global Champions League Round 2 starts in a few moments' time. Welcome back to Ramatuelle, Tropez. It has been a fascinating opening round of Global Champions League action. Only a single rail falling between 9 teams. And in case you're not too sure what that means, it means that half of the field, 9 teams of the 17, are only separated by a single fence. In other words, all of those 9 teams are very much in the mix to go on and win today. And the bigger the field, the more competitive it becomes, the more exciting it becomes come the end of the night. So that is beautifully designed and beautifully built up to the Global Champions League second round starting in a few moments' time. One of those changes, now again, we've talked to you about changes in a few moments' time. Between round 1 and round 2, managers can make changes. It is part of the strategic elements of the GCL. I believe there have been changes to the Prague Lions. They are powered by the Czech equestrian team. They are one of the many teams on 4 penalties. Rosie Turner standing by with the Prague Lions. Let's get their thoughts. Rosie.
Yeah, Mark, actually the Prague Lions have just headed off to walk the course one more time. As we know, round 2 can be very different to round 1. We've just had the start list out as well. It's a very quick turnaround here in Ramatuelle, Tropez. So we've just had the start list out for the Prague Lions. We have Niels Brunzils coming in. We're just going to move out of the way because we're currently on a bit of a line and we don't want to stop any of these riders being able to walk it. Anna Kelnarovo, as we spoke to her earlier, we haven't seen her for a while and she delivered a fantastic clear for the Prague Lions. And as Mark and we were discussing a little earlier, they're in that top 5 fight at the moment. They're a consistent team and they look like they could be really strong today. I'm just going through a couple of the other changes. Natalie Dean comes in for Cannes Stars, powered by Iron Dames. If you look further up the list as well, for the Tropez Pirates, who had such a fantastic week in Cannes last weekend, Duarte comes in for the Tropez Pirates. The Rome Gladiators stay the same with John Whittaker and Roy Van Beek. So I just need to have a little look through a few more of those changes, Mark, because as we said, we've only just got the start list through, but there are a few changes. And as we said, it's going to be competitive because round 1 was pretty much a clean sheet for a lot of these teams. So it feels like we're going to be starting again.
All right, Rosie, thank you very much. I'll give you a bit of a helping hand, allow you to grab some of those riders. As it stands now, Zoe Contero comes in for the Mexico Amigos. There is a horse change for Carlos Ancorero. Double horse change for New York Empire, powered by Lugano Diamonds. Spencer Smith and Scott Brash, winners here back in 2023. They both make horse changes. Michael Duffy steps away from the Basel Cosmopolitans. Andreas Skau comes into the mix. Prague Lions, as predicted, Niels Brunzils comes in. Anna Kelnarovo steps away from the team. Edwina Tops-Alexander, no surprises here, brings in the outstanding fellow Castlefield, the gelding now 15 years of age already. Natalie Dean, as we heard, comes in. No changes for Scandinavian Vikings, the Stockholm Hearts. Wow, what an opportunity to have a rider and horse pairing like H&M Indiana and Marlon Bayer-Johnson to come into the mix. For Istanbul Warriors, horse change for Simon de Lestre. No changes, as we've come to expect from Razorback International. For Daniel Deusser and Shanghai Swans, well, only a horse change for Max Kuhner. Valkenswaard United, they don't make any changes. Well, they do, I beg your pardon. There is a horse change for Hans-Dieter Dreyer. And more horse changes for Madrid in Motion as well. Interestingly is going to be what they have to jump, what they need to go on and compete with here later on tonight. Let's show you the virtual rankings and we'll get some thoughts from the man who has designed the course himself. Gregory Bordeaux is the course designer today. These are the virtual rankings. In case you're wondering what the virtual rankings look like and what they mean, well, quite simply, as you would imagine, if play were to stop immediately, this is what the new rankings would look like at the end of Global Champions League Round 1. The Shanghai Swans would continue to lead. Cannes Stars would remain in second place, as would Valkenswaard United. For the Tropez Pirates, we saw them climb after last week's stage. Prague Lions would make up some ground, but the rest of that ground lands up being made on that second page, as the teams, based on that second half, will land up making big points. The likes of course, the Doha Falcons, who have been severely struggling in 2025. They would make up a massive jump, yet still find themselves only in 12th place. Let's talk about the course. Let's talk about what they're going to have to jump, and what a pleasure it is to have Gregory Bordeaux, the course designer, join us live in the studio. Gregory, welcome. It's very nice to have you. We always enjoy having you here. How has time in Ramatuelle been for you? Okay?
Yeah.
Stressful? Busy?
No, yeah, busy, of course. Always for the global champions too,
Yeah.
of course, because you have the timing very tight between the two rounds, yeah.
We'll talk about round 2 in a moment. Let's focus on round 1. What are your thoughts, your reaction to how the riders did round 1?
Okay, I think finally it was a lovely course. The first one was fluent course, not so big. I wanted to build the normal course for the first one, just for to set up the good track, for especially to save the time. We have 2 parts for the first one, or the rider can save the time. The second round will be totally different.
Talk to us about the second round. Course walk is underway. The riders are busy walking the course now. What can we expect? What have you tried to do in round 2?
Okay, of course, I analyzed the first round. After the result, we have 5 teams. I think
5, yes.
5 totally clear. The second one, it's more challenging. It's more delicate. Okay, I put 3 verticals 160, and the rest of the Oxer is 150, not more, but 160 for the spread. The course is slightly different, more technical. It's my point of view as for to prepare the Grand Prix, especially.
Do you think time is going to be a factor tonight?
Yeah, I expect to have maybe 2 clear, not more.
Not more than 2 clear?
Yeah, 2 teams totally clear. You have 5. Normally, with my experience, especially with the Global Champions Tour, the GCL, normally when you have 4 or 5, after we're down with 1 or 2.
Well, we look forward to seeing how it goes later on. I know you're
I hope.
We'll wait and see. I know you're a busy man. Gregory Bouldeau, thank you very much. The course is on it today, giving us some updates as to what to expect in that upcoming second round. I believe now Prague Lions standing by with Rosie Turner. Let's get some thoughts from Prague. Rosie.
Yeah, thank you, Mark. As I promised, I would grab the boys from the Prague Lion team into round 2. Peter, I want to start with you. Round 1 was actually pretty good, just an unlucky fence down for you. But how good is it to have Anna back riding on the team?
It was. I think she did a fantastic job today. It was a long time she rode in the team, so I think she was a bit nervous to do good, but she did fantastic, and it was really nice to have her in the team. She's the owner of the team, so it's always nice that she can ride with us.
She's been managing the team, owner of the team as well, but to have her back on board, Niels as well, how much was a bit of a relief for her, do you think?
I think it was a lot. She's building up over the last month new horses, younger horses, trying to be ready again for the top level. And she's a hard worker, and if you can then make straight away a clear for the team, I think you can be really happy.
Peter, we were just watching you walk the course, and you've re-walked quite a few of the lines. How much more difficult is this to round 1?
Okay, it's also the qualification for the Grand Prix as well, so there were quite some clear rounds the first round, so I think that's why he put it a bit more technical, and also a few fences, a few very big and tall verticals, but also a few lines with options, and it's more delicate than the first round. Also a plank in, and I think a little bit everything, so I think it's a decent class now, yeah.
Niels, we often talk about how consistent the Prague Lions are. You're very much in the fight for the top 5 at the moment. How important is it that you stay in that area at the moment?
I think it's really important, but we are trying to get on the podium. and I think it's time for it. But okay, we have a strong team. The team spirit is very good. We are always around that place 4, 5, 6, which is actually very good for us. Let's try for more.
It's also one of those weekends as well that we don't often see so many clean sheets after round 1. How much is it all to play for into round 2? Do you feel like it's more of going to be a round 2 game this weekend?
Yeah, of course. Okay, there are 5 or 6 teams on clear, but it's always like that. The game is only played when the second round has been ridden, and I think it's also today you see the difference in the course. Second round, I think we will know the result at the end, and everything can still happen, like always.
Well, listen, I'll let you guys carry on walking the course. As we said, it is a much bigger and more technical course than round one. Thank you so much to the Prague Lions, who had a very good round one, just one down for Peter de Vos. But Anna Kelnerova, the owner of the team, back riding again, having produced those horses to come back to this top level. And she went clear. And as Peter de Vos said, maybe a bit of a relief for her to come in and produce that clear for them, Mark.
An outstanding round from Anna Kelnerova. Thank you very much to Rosie Turner. And you could not ask for two more experienced minds. If you have Peter de Vos, you have Niels Brandtjes coming in for a second round. We remind you that despite not being part of that group of the teams on double clear, with just a single fence separating those two teams, or those two groups, I beg your pardon, the Prague Lions, with that commitment, with that experience, with Niels Brandtjes and with Peter de Vos, they are firmly still in the hunt here for a podium, as they point out. Let's give you an idea as to what the start list looks like now for Global Champions League Round 2. I remind you that the start list is in reverse order of what took place in Round 1. So unfortunately, the Paris Panthers, the highest scoring team in Round 1, means that they will go first. Rome Gladiators, very early to go as well. Tropez Pirates, what a disappointment for them. After winning the previous stage, now coming in as the home team. Loads of excitement, loads of potential for them to go on and produce a second back-to-back result. But unfortunately, lots of fences going down for them. It means they have a very early start. Mexico Amigos, New York Empire, former champions here, powered by Lugano. They will not find themselves anywhere near that late start. And Prague Lions, as we said, about halfway through the field, just under that halfway point, because of that many teams on double clear and that large group of teams all on 4. And that starts from all the way from Istanbul Warriors down to the Prague Lions. That's how big that group of teams on 4 penalties in, and arguably all of them still very much in the hunt for an opportunity to get onto the podium later on tonight. You saw a beautiful shot there of the ring a few moments ago. The course walk officially underway, and the sun, it's still very far away from setting now during the European summer, but it has started to cool down, which is a bit of a relief as well. And that man walking down the middle of your screen there is Gregory Bordeaux. You would have heard from him a few moments ago, the course designer, just sneaking out of the frame there. He said that he's taken into account what took place in round 1. And because of that, he's now made some changes for round 2. So he is always on his feet, always thinking, always trying to react as to what took place in round 1 and how we can try and combat that and provide some challenges for the upcoming second round. That is his job. It is up to him to challenge these best riders of the world, but to make it exciting, to make it fair, but to make it very challenging as well. Think about how difficult that is for a course designer to try and balance every single one of those factors. It is why, as you see, a bit of a sweat on the forehead of Gregory Bordeaux. It is a tough seat to have. Let's go back to Rosie Turner now, back in the ring for us. Rosie, you've had an opportunity to walk around there. What have been some potential recurring themes? What have some of the riders been saying as they've now completed their course walk for the second round?
I think you make a really good point there, Mark, about the course. We looked at round 1 and a lot of the riders were saying that actually it's a pretty fair round 1, which you would expect as well in this sort of arena. But then into round 2, it's definitely looking tougher. A lot of the riders re-walking lines and lines and lines again and again. And as Peter de Vos said, there are lots of options as well, which is why they often walk the lines again, because depending on the type of horse they have, they might want to be looking at different ways of jumping it as well. I think if we just look at the start list again, though, Mark, we've got quite a few horse changes as well. A few rider changes, but a lot of horse changes. I want to have a look at some of these fences up close. I don't feel like we get to do that enough. This is the final fence on the course. It's a huge oxer as you come to the end of the course. 13 fences in this course, and obviously it's got the water jump underneath, which often for the horses, they're so professional, these horses. They know exactly what they're doing. They've jumped a fence like this hundreds of times, but it can make them pick up a little bit more. It is a big and wide oxer to finish. It also goes straight into the stands as well, so hopefully no horses get distracted by that. It's a fantastic course, and as we were saying earlier, the arena is a little bit narrower here. It's a lot longer, but it's a little bit narrower, so it's very different the way to ride it. The fences come up a lot quicker as well. But yeah, definitely looking at the start list, we've got some rider changes, but we've got a lot of horse changes as well, Mark. So I'm wondering how round 2 goes. As we said, round 1, it was pretty much clean sheet. I think round 2 might be very different.
I think that is very much going to be the case. Rosie Turner, thank you. We'll let you get out of the ring, start getting into your position and start chatting to these riders as they complete their GCL second round. Let's remind you as to what took place at the end of GCL round one, because there were a handful of teams that finished on double clear, the perfect score. I remind you, it's very, very rare in Global Champions League to have a clean sheet, what they refer to a clean sheet. Double clear in both rounds, not a single fence going down. Gregory Bordeaux suggested maybe out of the 5 teams that are double clear, we might only see 2. It suggests that perhaps some fences are going to fall. So let's show you which of those teams find themselves on double clear now. We've already mentioned the fact that Doha Falcons will be the final team to go. They are the team to catch, of course. They are the best team based on time. And because of that, they will be the last team to go. And they then, Julien Akata, Jérôme Guéry, will be the final combinations out. Are we then looking at potential GCL winners of Ramatuelle Tropez coming out of the Doha Falcons, Jérôme Guéry and Julien Akata? But of course, Madrid Emotion, they were the final team to go in Cannes just a week ago. If you remember, there were those very uncharacteristic falls that came from Eduardo Alvarez Asna. Kim Emmen jumped clear. Will that be a repeat here at Tehran tonight? We'll wait and see. Asnar returns for a late start later on this evening. And Victor Bettendorf, for anyone who does not know the name, what a season that man had in 2024. Going on to win the LGCT Grand Prix of Rome, getting himself a golden ticket to the GC playoffs at the end of the season, and going on to win the LGCT Super Grand Prix in Riyadh last year. It was a mind-blowing season for Victor Bettendorf. He now comes up for Madrid in motion. Falcons White United. We heard from Hans-Dieter Dreyer. If he says when you are jumping alongside Gilles Thomas that anything can happen. And how much praise has Gilles Thomas received over the last 12 to 18 months? If you recall, his Falcons White United teammates of Marcus Eining, formerly Edwina Tops-Alexander, they have all been incredibly complimentary of this now 27-year-old. And he continues to jump on Callista, still only 9 years of age. Can they go on to win it? Shanghai Swans, championship leaders, Daniel Deusser and Max Kuhner. Let's not forget Riesebeck International, powered by Horse Gym as well, as Christian Kuckuck and Philipp Weishout. Again, the dream team for Riesebeck International come forward. That means that there are 5 teams that are in the front runner seat to go on and win, but a handful of those teams on 4 that are still in the mix as well. Where does the winner come from tonight? We'll find out. Global Champions League Round 2 is next.
A very good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is a pleasure to welcome you to leg 6 of the Longines Global Champions Tour here in Ramatuelle, Saint-Tropez. This is a stunning location. The Côte d'Azur is just across from this main arena. It is quite breathtaking. The scenery here, the super yachts moored out just alongside our main arena. It's a very hot afternoon. There's not a lot of breeze to talk about. But this French Riviera, the Côte d'Azur, is really extraordinary. Ramatuelle has the beautiful L'Escalade not far away. That is the Sentier Littoral that takes you up to Cap Taillan. And now then to Cap Lardier. It is incredible, the walk around the coastline here. But thankfully, everybody's come to witness what will be a sensational GCL round 2. Because Gregory Bordeaux set a great course for round 1 this afternoon. There were half the field, that was 28, 24 combinations, jump clear of the 48, forgive me, in GCL round 1 and 2 exactly around this man's course. But this course will be significantly bigger, 5 centimetres. We increase the height to 1.60 m now. A very big test, certainly. But the world-class field must be tested as we come into leg 6 on the GCL that is in its 9th season. Oh, what a stunning venue it is. It really is remarkable. Bathed in nature here, but the equine focus, and this afternoon into evening we bring you into GCL round 2. The prize purse is €105,500 in total. Points, of course, going to our top teams as they try and take last year's season's championship away from Can Stars, who won last year, their inaugural year. What a victory that was. Peter de Vos for Prague Lions. There is the very talented Mexican Carlos Hank Guerrero. Gregi Kotar had a bit of unluck in the late stages of GCL round 1 with a couple down with Papa Mika. Daniel Zoysa, he's in great form. He won in Shanghai GCL round 1. And the seasoned Brazilian Eduardo Pereira Menezes assesses the track of Gregory Bodo this evening. Well, a lot of discussion. The course for the first GCL round today was big but straightforward, was the overall consensus. And as I say, half the field, which included the individual riders, there were 14 in number, achieved clear rounds. But this evening it will be an altogether different sort of a prospect we anticipate, because Gregory Bodo reaches the end of his measuring stick. 1.60 meters is at his disposal as we try and separate the top teams, and they need separating because after GCL round 1 we have 11 teams within 4 penalties. There were the 5 clear round teams and 6 teams with 4 penalties. We take you through the start list for GCL round 2 with a batch of the individuals to come that are 17 in number this time. Sierra Bleicher stays with Oliver van der Heike, the young German. And Jane Richard jumps a good round. Molly Malone Z comes again at number 9 to start. Gilles Payard makes a horse change for GCL round 2. That is also the Grand Prix qualification for the big class here later this week. That is his Donatello Dorge, and that is the last individual rider, Ken Farrington and Tulane, his outstanding mare. That is the world number 1. John Whittaker stays with Equine America. Unique de Frankfurt. Scott Brash brings in a new horse, Hello Chidora Lady for New York Empire, who won the Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix in Shanghai. Katrin Eckermann substitutes Chow Lee for Iron Dame's Calamandia NRW. And Marlon Bard-Johnson now brings H&M Indiana into the fray for Stockholm Hearts. Daniel Zoysa stays with Gangster, and Max Kuhler brings now EIC Julius Caesar in instead of EIC up to Jacko Blue. Jules Smash jumps a brilliant first round clear with Qualista, and he stays with that 9-year-old into this 1.60 meters. And the horse quality to end GCL round 2 is truly impressive. Bearing in mind the likes of Victor Beddendorf, Vladimir Dupont for Julien Coutin, jumps a great clear for him, and Jérôme Guéry, Killer Queen, alongside Vladimir Dupont, trying to win Toho Falcons' first GCL leg this year. Superb to have your company. Welcome to GCL round 2 here in Ramatuelle, Saint-Tropez. Our Trailblazers show us the way around. Gregory Bodo's very impressive 460-meter course. It's a hot afternoon, and for those that stay with their same horses, of course, stamina and endurance comes into play. But Christian Alman makes a substitution. Vivario substitute for Untouched LB into this individual battle now for Grand Prix qualification. As I say, these first 17 riders come prior to the GCL round 2 starting in earnest. Now this pair, they are in their 4th 5-star week only. This is their 2nd Longines Global Champions Tour starts. They had a brilliant week with us in Cannes last week, their debut. They had one down in each of GCL's rounds 1 and 2, and then qualified for the Grand Prix, and 21st it was. And behind Harry Smulders and the Evergate Stables is Monaco for the Netherlands. Now Christian, he is world ranked number 57. He became world number 1 in December 2012. This horse had a brilliant 5-star debut back in March. That was the Hermes competition in Paris, and they were 4th in the Grand Prix at Le Sceau Hermes. Impressively, their very first show at elite level. Christian is in superb form, as he demonstrated just a couple of weeks ago. Won the Longines Grand Prix of Hamburg with Dorken Hero Z, his 3rd win, and that home classic for Christian. He is from Marl, North Rhine-Westphalia, up to the north of Duisburg and Essen, our western flank, fairly northerly in Germany. Untouched He's only 9, son of United Touch S. Cross to corner to Blensky. Now Christian house over the big Oxa to then run into the Leona Porsche's vertical. The Lugano Liverpool is very, very substantial. The last went 152 by 160. Christian Alman just ambles around the course. He made it look very easy. Bear in mind it's their 4th 5-star week only. That was consummate from the magician from Marl. Christian Alman opens us up with the brilliant clear in GCL round 2. And of course with the top 40 from this class returning. Well, if you're new to GCTV, the top 40 of this class do come back for the Grand Prix. We will not have more than 40 clears, that is virtually certain, if not a dead certainty, and Christian Alman will return for the Grand Prix here at Ramatuelle Saint-Tropez for leg 6. The ace marksman that is Kevin Stokes, world number 9, getting started. He is from Normandy, 44 years of age, and this is his exciting new ride this year, new Libero 1-0 getting started. This pair 10th in the 5-star Grand Prix at Le Bourg last Sunday on the French Atlantic coast. They've had 2 5-star wins already, one in Gothenburg back in February. They're second in the Gothenburg Trophy there as well, and the other win came in Abu Dhabi. That was a 5-star Grand Prix as well in mid-April. But no, the Premium, the question vertical plank, I'm afraid, is 158 tall at 6, is out of the cups. Kevin Stokes' very first win with us on the Longines Global Champions Tour was the Grand Prix in Monte Carlo. Well, the first Grand Prix win, certainly. Brevet de Herpes HDC, June of 2012. Kevin studied economics and literature at Caen University, not far from his home base, and the Libero 1-0 now tries to stay on the 4 and does, because that'll be having every chance of returning. Of course, if there were a number of 440s, it would be the quickest ones of those that would comprise the 40. Kevin Stokes is very fast, that horse typically, so we would anticipate Grand Prix qualifications secure, but we must wait and see to see how the others, of course, fare. That was a mistake for the world number 9. The new starter, this combination, they were brilliant. They were third in the Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix in Shanghai last year. And Michael took this horse once again to Shanghai this year. They were 6th individually in this GCL round 2, but in Shanghai the equivalent class. Leg 2 this year. They didn't jump the Grand Prix, having qualified. A little stumble on landing. But then they set up beautifully for the Can Lamborghini Skinny. It's only 125 wide at 4. To encourage a cut turn into this very beefy GCL treble. 155 in, mid-part 155 the vertical, and 150-155 exiting. Same fence Kevin Stokes goes consecutively, I'm afraid. Michael Duffy, Cantano 32. Now think about the time, just in case there was a clear round flurry and 4 penalty flurry. Time could be critical. Generally this season, a 4 penalty GCL round 2 score would have got you qualified for the Grand Prix. We've had certainly some 8 penalty scores that have been good enough over the 5 legs prior to coming into Ramatuelle Saint-Tropez for leg 6. So again, same score as Kevin Stokes. It is just the one down. Strong enough round, but that plank proving very demanding at 6. It takes the 4 penalties onto the scorecard of Michael Duffy and Cantato 32 for Ireland, but again should be good enough for Grand Prix qualification. That horse owned by the HS Sportverdet and Courtney Hobson. It's a sweltering hot afternoon. This lady rode a very good GCL round 1 for just one mistake. Anastasia Nielsen, we welcome back. Now this is Franco 79, the son of Ferthold Lorne, who won the Hamburg Derby, the Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix many moons ago with Katrin Eckermann. This all started the Longines Global Champions Tour in Monaco last year. Their last out was in St. Gall and the Longines Grand Prix of Switzerland, 38th, but I'm afraid the brakes go sharply on. It's a big line, it's pressed right up alongside our VIPs. There's the shadows as well on landing. It's just all ramp up the intensity of the question. Horses can of course get visually confused, and it's a big line. Great debut for Anastasia Nielsen in GCL round 1, but it looks like Franco 79 has seen enough out there, not wanting to go forward, and it's not easy once the horse starts to back away from your leg. You've got quite an uphill struggle as a rider to then re-galvanise them. And I think Anastasia Nielsen's going to jump a fence on the retirement road out of the main arena. Yes, she does. Okay, big afternoon into evening for her, and she did jump with us in Shanghai, but a newcomer to the Longines Global Champions Tour, trained by Cian O'Connor and the Mighty Carswell stable. Anastasia Nielsen retires Franco 79 from GCL round 2 here, leg 6, Ramatuelle Saint-Tropez in the south of France. Just looking a little bit as though he was backing off early, and then Cameron Hanley left searching for the answer, training Anastasia here on behalf of Carswell stable. The new starter, Megan Massonnier, we welcome. Jumped a superb clear round in GCL round 1 with the lovely young horse Coup de Coeur Musa, but on course now Krunetam, the senior stablemates. Now this pair were very good in the Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix last week. Leg 5 in Cannes for 27th place. Megan, 27 years of age, still only her breakthrough was 2022 Nations Cup debut came in Le Bourg, jumped to the Mercedes-Benz Prize in Aachen, and it was frustrating because she was right on the cusp of French team selection for the Worlds in Herning that year, clearing the first round with Cordon and Cerzarina in Aachen, but then had a fall in round 2. And the opinion was that could have been the reason she wasn't selected for the Worlds in Herning. Father Bernard was an elite rider previously and had a breeding stable at home. Stunning round for Megan Massonnier. She is a huge talent. Krunetam comes home, and it will be repeat Grand Prix last week in Cannes, this week here in Ramatuelle Saint-Tropez. That was immaculate. Megan, who's ridden for Laurent Guillet since April 2019 when Laurent fell and broke his shoulder. He needed a local rider to his base in Bourg-en-Bresse, and Megan thankfully was a neighbour. He wanted his horses as well to stay at home, and Megan could fulfil all of the criteria. Great round. It's a clear for Megan Massonnier and Krunetam, combination number 5. This man, like Megan Massonnier, rides for Laurent Guillet, and Nicolas Delmotte is on course. He's a huge talent. He is number 130. His first start with us on the Longines Global Champions Tour was last week in Cannes. Started at a club in the north of France riding. Bruno Busco was his early coach as a teenager. Then Bertrand de Balabre and Eric Navet, a big influence as well. Now Jordan Mulga M. They were a very good third place in the GCL round 2 in Cannes, and Went on into a top 30 finish in the Grand Prix last week as well. But I'm afraid it's a Prague playoffs vertical. Fence 9 is 158 tall. Puts Nico onto a 4 penalty score. This horse he co-owns with Laurent Guillet, and they were 4th last year, 5-star Grand Prix in Dinard in July. And it's their 2nd full season together. Only that is how good this pair have gelled. It's a good round. Normally it will be enough to qualify for the Grand Prix here on Saturday. We wait and see, but should be enough for Nicolas Delmotte. These individuals, of course, that is their main objective, to qualify to be one of the best 40 combinations at the end of GCL round 2 individually. Those 40 that do secure their place in the Grand Prix here on Saturday. Not a mistake for the new enough combination for France. The new starter, Tjara Bleicher, getting started, and Oliver van der Heijke for this young southern German from Munich. She was with us in Shanghai for her maiden Longines Global Champions Tour start. Leg 2 in China in that incredible Just International Equestrian Centre. But outdoors here in Ramatuelle Saint-Tropez, and Oliver van der Heijke is spring heel down through 5A, B and C, the GCL treble. They can clear the plank, which has caused a couple of big names to fall out of clear rounds. Tiara's first 5-star starts from Doha, Al Shakab on the Doha Tour back in January. But no, I'm afraid the error comes down into the Longines double 10A, 150 by 155. And then a successive big oxer falls. That's the Fabulous Feathers. It's got a short 6 strides between 10B and 11. Just ran a little bit deep into the base of that second error point. But she's very good. She rides in a very natural way. Looks kind of unmanufactured, and a former youth European champion. And there's Tjara Bleicher. Right on to her. That is a couple down, but a good effort. Maybe will be enough to return for the Grand Prix. We wait and see. It is combination number 7, the son of Eplice van der Heijke across to Argentinus, who has a pair of oxers for 8 for Tjara Bleicher. The new starter, Charlotte Leoni, getting underway. She's from Aix-en-Provence, due west of our location in Ramatuelle. Due north of Marseille is her beautiful base, alongside her husband, Philippe Leoni. And this is Vivalenska on the course. Charlotte jumped a very good first round clear today. Cyclone Le Pivot in round 1. But I'm afraid they falter into the GCL treble. 5A, 155 tour, dispatched. This mare made her 5-star Grand Prix debut in La Boule last Sunday, had 3 down in the François André Stadium. But I'm afraid, yeah, another fence goes. But bear in mind, yes, as I say, this horse jumped a Grand Prix just back on Sunday, so maybe just feeling it a little bit in her legs. She's 12 years of age, daughter of Ivan van der Heffink, across to Corner Tablenski. It's of course rider choice. How often you run your horses, you've just got to feel your way with your mounts to see where their sort of boundaries lie. Some recover quickly, some take a little bit more time to disperse the lactic acid. But they're very fit, these horses. But I'm afraid Charlotte Leoni can't back up her GCL first round clear in the GCL round 2, the qualifier for the Grand Prix. She'll have to wait and see how the others fare, because it is 8 for Vivalenska. Charlotte Leoni for France, combination number 8 this evening. the next pair to come, the first for Switzerland in GCL round 2 this afternoon, and Jane Richard we welcome. She was well placed last year in Monaco, 7th place in the Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix, and 10th in Rome, both with this horse. Molly Malone Z is on course for Jane Richard. She's had some great form, World Equestrian Games in Caen 2014, and she was 14th in the World Cup finals held in Geneva 2010. This pair are well capable of a clear round this afternoon. It's a big test, but they are a very good partnership. Jane Richard sees a perfect stride into the GCL treble, meets it so well, and then of course the momentum maintained, but this is the problem. You may have a good feeling down through the treble, but that plank will come up quickly. Hot on its heels at 6. It's proving a hot spot of error out on the course of Gregory Bodo. Greg assisted by Yann Royan and Eddie Castillon this week here for leg 6 of the Longines Global Champions Tour 2025. Poit really had to just take a quite strong hold there on Molly Malone Z, who was just running through Jane's hand down to 11. Did a good job because it was running into the base of the fence, and that is a good round. She had to be very wily in the saddle there because, as I say, the mare was on bound. And Dora Milo Carthago, as reflected earlier, horses won on the Longines Global Champions Tour, the Grand Prix of Le Pro in years gone by. Good riding from Jane Richard. After this one early error, she secured the round well on 4 penalties. And again, Grand Prix hopes are alive and well. The new starter, horse change for Celine Schoenbrunn d'Azevedo into GCL round 2, and she jumps a very good round in round 1. Clinto TZ is number 10 on course. He is a son of Clintissimo Z, Crotter and Doctro, owned by the Ecru Fab, which is the Belgian base of the Azevedo family. Clinto TZ had a very good 3-star, third place I should say, in a 4-star 155 Grand Prix Lido di Camaiore in Italy last outing. This pair, they make their first Longines Global Champions Tour start this afternoon, and their partnership about a year and a half together. Started in January of last year, but Celine Schoenbrunn d'Azevedo, I'm afraid, taking the out vertical of the Liverpool out of the Longines double 10A and B. Second error, but again they'll have a faint hope of coming back, but that hope I think is all but extinguished with the final fence going. What a shame. The Lugano Diamonds Liverpool does mean it is a third error, and that again throws doubt into whether Celine Schoenbrunn d'Azevedo will be returning after Jane Richard looking more likely, but the third error again casts a little bit of shadow on the hopes of their Grand Prix return. It's a stunning scene, and this man is in very good form indeed. He has been impressive both last week in Cannes and this week in Ramatuelle Saint-Tropez, because a super clear GCL round 1. What a shame this afternoon with Aventois, but I'm afraid his jet black Nico has the first fence. It's not easy, it's away from in-gate. So again, that magnetism of the horse back to its herd in effect may be the reason. This horse was in Cannes as well last week, and their second Longines Global Champions Tour start this year. Second error, 155 tool vertical, middle of the GCL combination. This pair were 10th in the Prix du Département Alpes-Maritimes last Saturday in Cannes, behind Emanuele Gaudiano. 10th international win with Vasco, that was for the Southern Italian. But again, what a disappointing 3 down for Hassan Senturk. He's in really good form, but on this occasion this evening, Grand Prix qualification again, doubtful. World Cup finals in Las Vegas, 09, 32nd. 2 Mediterranean Games, 09. And in Oran, Algeria 2022 as well. And 5 Balkan Championships for Hassan Senturk. But yeah, hard work for him out in the heat, I'm afraid. He's going to have a time penalty as well, 0.16 per second over the time. It's going to be a frustrating round for Hassan Senturk, I'm afraid. And GCL round 2 is their chances of qualifying for the Grand Prix here on Saturday looking very unlikely. It's not easy, it's a massive course. When things start to slip through your fingers, it can get very costly very quickly. The new starter, this lady, Anna Kilner-Rover, jumps a very smart first round clear, and 23rd she was in the individual standings in GCL round 1 aboard Hurricane DD. This is the son of Felice de Musa, cross to Vincenzo for Anna. Tokyo Olympian, based with Kenneth Clawson in Great Britain. As we referred to earlier, we sadly lost Kenneth from cancer. He was the British team eventing trainer, wonderful coach from Leicestershire. And a little few rattles down the treble, but it is all intact, and again breathes on top of the Premium plank, but no marks on the card. And Kilner-Rover, though, I'm afraid, does take then 2 in succession. 8 and 9, 3 strides down between the purple violet Oxer and the Prague Playoffs vertical, and both going. And now trains with Niels Blanseos, a very good man to guide her. And Kilner-Rover homebound, but the middle of the course was the downfall. But bear in mind that horse, as I say, jumped GCL round 1 as well, so he's had a very good afternoon with Anna Kilner-Rover for Czechia. That clear round was also for the Prague Lions in the GCL team competition, so she's had a great afternoon, and maybe, as we say, 8 might be enough to return. I think the course is big enough that maybe some 8-4 rounds could well come back for the Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix here on Saturday. The new starter, the 2022 French national champion, and a real pillar of the French national team. Started in 2010, her maiden cap for the national team in Lexington for the Worlds. Le Prévost is aboard Bingo de Tondu this afternoon. This horse, a long-time partner of Michel Robert. Michel, one of the legendary veteran, still show jumping. He won the double silver at the Worlds in The Hague back in '94 behind Francis Lutak. Penlop down through 8 and 9. This is very secure. But I'm afraid the clatter of timber into Ramatuelle sand. Penlop Le Prévost, she's on 4. Her first win on the Longines Global Champions Tour. The Grand Prix win was in Antwerp, Florida Mariposa, 2016. Well, it will likely be good enough to return. I'm very much hoping so. Rider from Lisieux in Pays d'Or. She's a brilliant horsewoman. So natural, as you can see, like a dressage rider, just back into trot and walk. Stern look back from Le Prévost. She's got hugely high standards. But this year up into the Longines double. 10A is the one down for Bingle Del Tondu and Francis. World number 1-1-1, Penelope Le Prévost. The new starter, home Olympian in Rio 2016, and Eduardo Pereira de Menezes getting started. This is a 10-year-old gelding son of Messenger, crossed to Carthago, out of the Oldenburg Studbook. A man from Santa Maria in the south of Brazil. They started as a partnership about a year ago, June of 2024, and this is their 5-star and Longines Global Champions Tour debut as a pair, and their first 160 as well. So no shame, middle part of the treble 5B. Their last show was at Bourg-en-Bresse, up to the locality of Lyon. Eduardo owns this horse. The Pierre suffix is the Paul Schockemoller indication that this came from Gestert Lewitz up in the northeast of Germany. Certainly a flamboyant jumper, big rangy type of horse for Eduardo Pereira de Menezes to guide, but they have a second mistake prior to the last fence, and the last goes as well. Again, Eduardo Pereira de Menezes will be left thinking, will he have done enough to secure his place for Saturday's Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix here at Ramatuelle Saint-Tropez for leg 6. He's a great gladiator of our sports. This is the first of the 3 errors for the gorgeous grey Messi's Whiz Kid PS and Brazil's Eduardo Pereira de Menezes. The new starter, he was with us in Mexico City and in Cannes as well. On course, Gregory Cotard from the Drocourt stables up near Lille in the north of France. Long trip down, but of course, willing journey for Greg. Now this again is Popamika, JW van der Merherber. They jumped a very good GCL round 1, but actually it was this line at the end of the first round that caused them 2 errors late. And an otherwise very good performance. Premier equestrian plank has gone several times. It goes again for Gregory Cotard. He works with the former world champion in taekwondo. That is a very useful guide to his mindset. Michel Borot, his mental trainer. And he also does a lot of work on his physique with biomechanics, and works over cavalettis and small jumps to improve his horse's balance. He's got a lot of different approaches, Gregory Cotard. No noseband either, you'll notice on Popamika. So just the plank is the 1 down, good round overall. Gregory Cotard, who won his very first 5-star Grand Prix at Bordeaux with Coquin Duval in February 2 years ago in 2023. It's a good round, should secure him a Grand Prix place here for the Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix of Ramatuelle Saint-Tropez. This the, again, light enough error. Hind hooves catch that 158 tall, vertical at 6. This man is some gladiator, former winner of the Longines Global Champions Tour Super Grand Prix in Prague with Dubai du Cèdre, and this the outstanding Donatello Dorge on course for Julien Paillard. This pair winners of the World Cup final this year in Basel, and Julien hot-footed down to the GCL treble. The crowd has fallen deathly silent, says, oh no, they can now let out a frustrating sigh because the middle part goes twice in succession. Gregory Cotard, and now Jeanette Paillard take the vertical 155 toilet 5B. Donny bred by Julia's wife, Susanna. Quite extraordinary. 12-year-old son of Jarnac. Hello, Pierreville, the dam so out of the Self-Francais Stubbook. Goes as well, so certainly it is surprising, and we must wait and see whether that combination have done enough to qualify, because they were the winners here of the Grand Prix 2 years ago, and they then won that same season in Monte Carlo. You would think will be okay, because it will certainly be an 8 penalty score that is quick, but we must wait on and watch to see how the others fare. 2 down for Jeanette Paillard, and the former winner of this Grand Prix, Donatella George, number 16. The new starter, the newly crowned and appointed world number 1, his second month in the leader's chair on the world rankings. Ken Farrington is off to a typically quick, fluent start with his own and the Rabbit Root Stables' Tulane. This the last individual. What a combination. 2 years ago, they won the Tropez de Genève in Geneva. They won the Major League Show Jumping Grand Prix at Angel Stone in Canada. This year they've won twice 2 4-star Grand Prix at the World Equestrian Centre in Ocala. And in February they won the World Cup qualified Desert Horse Park International. That is at Thermal in the heart of California. Tulane, daughter of Toulon, one of my favourite horses. Compact, flamboyant. And the man from Chicago has to wrestle a little bit down to the fabulous feathers. Oxa. Ken does a very good job of keeping her off the front bar. Look at this round. Ken Farrington comes storming home. Ooh, the last fence. It's a late sting in the tail from Gregory Bodo into the side of the world number 1. Such was the fluency and power of the round. It is a real late surprise. Ken Farrington still 65.25, the quickest round so far this afternoon. He will go third. With a very good effort, but Tulane just missed out on the clear round at the final fence. Well, these are the standings, and only 2 clear rounds. Unbelievably, Krishna Alman coming early. Megan Massonnier, the quickest of the 2 clear rounds, 69.87. Ken Farrington ahead of Kevin Stotes. Nicolas Amott and Penelope Le Provost, all very good 4 penalty rounds. We have jumped 17 combinations, and a really fascinating course that Gregory Bodo and his team, Jan Royan and Eddie Castillon, have assembled. Krishna Alman talking to Max Kuhner. We take a short break prior to GCL round 2 getting started. We'll see you all very soon. Thank you for your company. A very good evening, delighted to have your company. This is leg 6 of the Longines Global Champions Tour, Ramatuelle Saint-Tropez. This is GCL round 2. The battle has been intense already this afternoon, and it is 5 teams who now come back with 0 scores. The battle is on. Who will win after the Saint-Tropez Pirates won last leg last week in Cannes, their first win of GCL 2025. Well, this is a stunning scene. It is a hot Thursday evening, 25 degrees. There is precious little breeze to talk about. The horses all having a fascinating look at Gregory Bodo's first round course, and his GCL round 2 track has been intense and demanding. These are the former winners, Cannes Stars, who went on to the season victory last year. They are the defending champions. We have had 6 former editions, and no team has won here more than once. New York Empire, Prague Lions, Valkenswaard United, Madrid in Motion, and the inaugural year 2018 was the win for Shanghai Swans. We have 11 teams within 4 penalties. The grouping is very, very tight, and with the impression how hard this course is, there will be a real battle. The season's leaders are the Shanghai Swans. They won twice, Mexico City and then at home in Shanghai, legs 2 and 3. But they are hotly pursued by last year's champions, Cannes Stars, who won here last year in second. These teams all trying to win crucial season points here as we get towards the halfway stage in this 2025 GCL season. And our back markers, including Stockholm Hearts, who won the GCL Super Cup last year. We take you back through the moments in the first round which really caught our eye. It was a very interesting course, and Saint-Tropez Pirates having won last time in Cannes. Gregory Cotard, 8 penalties was with Popamika, J.W. van der Merhove. Then came their seasoned veteran. What a career Philippe Rosier has enjoyed. And Dirty Sweet was stunning for a great clear for leg 5's winners. Valkenswaard United won in Madrid, their first win this season, and Hans-Dieter Dreyer got them off to a flying start. It was so good. Vesma de Coty has been in super form this year, had a great win with us in Shanghai, a big jump off class, and there was elation. Then came in Gilles Thomas, this young sensation, and this is a brand new horse to GCL. First half Aquilista here in Ramatuelle. Perfect clear from Gilles Thomas. What a masterful round from the young man. Their score 0, lying third. It was the Cannes Stars' Anastasia Nielsen's very first GCL start here in Ramatuelle, and she had a very good round. Late mistake, but my Bravo boy PS came home with 4. And then this combination, they won the King's Cup in Madrid, and Chao Li, little zippy of type, Katrin Eckermann, had a very good round for a clear to lie in 9th place Cannes Stars. Victor Beddendorf was so quick typically. Can Cantoro Z stormed around for the man from Normandy to put Madrid in Motion into a very good position. And then Eduardo Vargas came forward, and Legend was a little bit off colour second round in Cannes, but made no mistake. 1 week later, critical clear round. Madrid in Motion lies second. Prague Lions, Anna Kelnerova, her GCL debut this year, and it was a very good round for this young rider. Hurricane DD secured a great clear. Niels Bransales, who trains Anna, celebrates her clear. Peter de Vos won the Amsterdam Grand Prix with this horse, Drina J, this year, and they had 1 down late. 4 penalties for the Prague Lions, and these are the standings. The 5 teams with clears, they are all really chopping each other's heels for the win here. And then we have the 6 teams on 4 penalties, so as I say, 11 teams within 1 fence down out onto GCL round 2, and given the demands of this course, it will be a battle royale here in Ramatuelle Saint-Tropez. The course set by Gregory Bodo for round 2, it is a 460-metre course. And as we've seen, it is very, very tough. The first fence is this oxer, the gold-red fence away from him, gate is the added difficulty. 149 by 140. It's 7 strides down to the horse's heads vertical, 155 tall at 2. This is a sharp right-hander into a massive, perfectly square trippy trio oxer, 150 square at 3, and then a dogleg left-handed run down to the Lamborghini Can oxer. That's skinny. 125 is its width to try and encourage a tight turn on the getaway into this treble. The GCL line is 155 entering. Very big vertical right on the flank of our VIPs, and they'll land and then down to 5B. It's another vertical, one stride, a long one, 8 meters and 40, down to 5B, the same height, 155. And then on landing, a slightly compressed holding stride, 8 meters and 1 is 155 in width, 150 tall. 5C is a very big exiting fence. It is then either 7 on an inside line or 8 on a slightly outside curve to the Premium plank. Not easy. 158 tall, very, very easy to knock that out of the horizontal cups. Then down 7, that is max height, 160, the GC vertical. The run down then 2.8, the violet purple oxer. Then 3 strides down to the 158 tall Prague playoffs vertical fence number 9. This then a sharp turn into another combination, the Longines double, down between 10A and B. 150, 155 entering. It's a very tall vertical getting into the last stage of this course, where can the horse be quick enough with his or her legs? 155 is the height of the exit fence. Then down on a 6 short stride distance into the Feathers oxer at 11, 150 by 155 is causing trouble. They then turn into this massive penultimate. It's 160 tall, unforgiving from Gregory Bodo. At 12, the Porsche vertical, and then down. It's a forward distance to Lugano oxer, 152 tall by 160. Here's the width, and 74 seconds by the man who marches into his evening's work here. Leg 6 at Ramatuelle Saint-Tropez. We go in reverse order from the first round results, and Paris Panthers will lead us into action. No changes for them. Rome Gladiators again stay with John Whittaker and Roy van Beek. Same horsepower for the Great Brit and the young Belgian. The winners last time, Saint-Tropez Pirates. Duarte Abra joins Philippe Rosier Duarte into the roster for round 2. Mexico Amigos, horse change, Haas Hank Guerrero, H5 Ganache Hero Z, and Zoe Contest stays with Louis LN. And again, new horses for New York Empire, Scott Brash, Hello Chedora Lady, and Spencer Smith brings HH5 Seattle. Basel Cosmopolitans, it's Andreas Sko who comes into GCL round 2 with Dark Deluxe, and Jana Varga stays with like Arpeggio. Prague Lions, new horses, and Niels Brunsales comes into GCL round 2 for the first time. Monaco Comets, Edwina Thompson Alexander changes to fellow Castlefield. Jean Sabron stays with Ivana Del Massé. Can Stars, Natalie Dean brings her outstanding Annie Akota M into round 2. And Katrin Eckermann brings Iron Dame's Calamandia forward now. Neil Fearon alongside Scandinavian Vikings is Johann Sebastian Gulliksen. Stockholm Hearts, it's the great H&M Indiana, comes for Marlin Bard Jonsson, and Olivia Philippart stays with Christel. This great team, it is Simon Lestre who changes. Cayman Jolly Jumper comes in ahead of Akatitla. Henry von Eckermann stays with Iliana. Riesbeck International, no changes for them. They jump very well, of course. Christian Kuckuck and Philip Weishaupt. Shanghai Swans, Gangster stays with Daniel Deusser. And Max Kuhner brings in EIC Julius Caesar this time. Valkenswaard United, Hansi Dieter Dreyer brings Elysium ahead of Vesmal de Coty. And Jules Thomas stays with Quilista DN. And Madrid in motion, the penultimate to start. Eduardo Vargas Asnar changes to Maiden Reutershoff, and Victor Bettendorf has a horse change to Doha de Riverland. And our leaders after GCL round 1, Blood Diamant Dupont stays with Julien Coutin, and Jérôme Gris brings in Killer Queen into his saddle. Well, what a position. The battle is going to be quite sublime over the next 1 hour or so, because, as I say, 11 teams. Given the difficulty, the technicality, the dimensionality of this course by Gregory Bodo. It will be going right down to the wire. The battle will be intense. The picturesque setting is going to be overshadowed by the quality and sheer power of the sport over the next hour. Great to have your company. From myself, Ed Holloway, we welcome you to GCL Round 2 for Leg 6 of the Global Champions League here in Ramatuelle, Saint-Tropez. The first go in GCL Round 2. Paris Panthers will lead us into action, and a little rattler the opener. Luis Felipe Cortizo Gonzalez Azevedo Fulho, our trailblazer. Eric Boyan and Martina Nagel's own Chanel Blue, the son of Conthagos, crossed to Chaco Blue. Luis Felipe, Chanel Blue arc out over the top of that skinny Can Lamborghini box. But then, I'm afraid, the mid-path of the treble, it's proving the Achilles heel. Down through the combination, and 2 verticals in close order. Now 3 verticals. You have horses which suit a type of jump more than others. You have some horses which are good at oxes, some better at verticals. It just depends, not to stereotype this horse into one or other category, but 3 verticals down. Just cast a question on the front leg technique. Luis Felipe, very big 5-star win in Sharjah start of this year. He comes home. It will be 0.28 a second outside the time as well, so he will add 1 time penalty to the 3 verticals that fell. It is going to be 13 for the trailblazer in GCL Round 2 here in Ramatuelle, Saint-Tropez for Leg 6. Luis Felipe Cortizo Gonzalez Azevedo Fulho and Chanel Bleu to show us the demands, as if we need a reminding of this mighty test of Gregory Bodo this evening. Excited to watch this man. He's on a swift upward trajectory, really improving. And 1 down a piece in the 2 rounds with us in Cannes last week, both with this horse as well. And then 23rd in the Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix last Saturday in Cannes in the Stade d'Esperides. On course, Guido Grimaldi. Now, gentlemen had a couple down in the first round this afternoon, but the son of Vigor Soy, I'm afraid, just trails his front legs out of the GCL treble. 150 by 155, that is. Back bar again goes at the big box. They're all big out there, to be absolutely fair, so I'm not giving you any guidance. It is fence 8. Guido, who works the family shipping business, the Grimaldi Lines, based out of Naples on the Italian coastline. He's a pure amateur. That's the impressive thing about Guido, and he literally go on to business trips and return just as the competitive week is starting. His trainer is Luis Felipe Cortizo de Azevedo Fulho, who we just saw, who led Paris Panthers into battle. And Luis will do the early work in the week with his horses. Guido will come straight out of business trips and come into the heat of battle. So they're a very effective double team. Gentleman comes home, but Paris Panthers again.
A very, very heavy penalty count for the Paris Panthers. They come out on 59 penalties. An afternoon forget here in the GCL of Ramatuelle, Saint-Tropez. If you want to watch the rest of Global Champions League action here from Stage 6, sign up for a GCTV Live Pass. We would love to have you on board for the rest of the program. The best show jumpers in the world, the best riders in the world, all here in Ramatuelle, Saint-Tropez. Sign up for that GCTV Live Pass and come watch the climax of GCL Round 2.